Hello there, you sick paedophiles. No, you're awakening wonders, and I love you. Today is part 2 of our Tommy Robinson special, where we look at Tommy Robinson's documentary that was reposted by Elon Musk, which meant that in the UK, the government did do an inquiry into rape gangs rather than not doing an inquiry into rape gangs. So whatever they say about Tommy Robinson and whatever they say about Elon Musk, they are dictating and directing policy. And let me know in the comments and chat. I would say that if there are rape gangs in the UK raping young British women, and have been for decades, to the tune of thousands of victims, that maybe should have an inquiry into it. Hey, maybe the media should invest some time into that. Let me know what you think in the comments and chat. We'll be with you wherever you're watching us, YouTube, X, whatever, for the first 20 minutes or so. Then we'll be exclusively available on our home. Rumble, advocates for free speech. When the government came for me, Rumble stood firm. When the old school legacy media stood up as judge, jury and executioner, maybe they got some skin in game. The old legacy media was falling apart as a result of emergent independent media voices. When it was exposed, they lied to us during the pandemic, when it was exposed that basically the establishment of what is that media organisation, global media organisation that ensures that they are all in tune with one another, that the BBC, the New York Times, Google Alphabet are all members of. I'll do some research, I'll find out about it, but you'd think once someone's life's on the line, you'd learn it. But I hand over my life today to Christ Jesus and the men around me now. For example, Jake's here producing the show. You all right, Jake?
I'm doing good. I'm falling in love with wearing glasses inside.
Why not, man? You look cool. Who cares?
And unbuttoning the shirt. It feels good.
Yeah, we're sexy. We're sexy. Hey, if being sexy is a crime, turns out it is, actually. I'll tell you more about that over the coming months. Over here, Isaac, affectionately known as APAC. How's it doing, you beautiful member of the 12 tribes? 10 of the tribes were annihilated and wiped out. The only 2 remained. That's what I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're obviously one of those 2. That's good stuff. Now, I heard a rumour that one of the lost tribes are the English. Did you ever hear that conspiracy theory? I like that.
I think I even saw that yesterday on like X or something. I think that's where I saw that. It was like, oh yeah, did you know that they actually ended up going to Europe and they ended up becoming the British, you know? But I don't know how.
They're everywhere.
Have you ever had, they're certainly in Hollywood, I'll tell you that much. But Free Diddy! Did you hear that, have you ever had one of them genealogy tests done where they nickel your biodata? Have you ever done one?
I don't trust that.
You don't trust it? I had one done
sell
that
it.
was new.
Sell all that.
To someone. Whenever the company goes like, hey, we're not doing this anymore. Didn't that just happen?
Yeah,
like
it was a scam. It was a massive scam.
You're basically giving your genetic data over to a company and you don't know what they're going to do with that after. No. So I don't trust that. I don't like it. Like, I would get it done if I knew that it was like locally stored data, but knowing that it isn't. And you know what? The Mormons actually apparently like ran like ancestry.com or one of those genealogy stuff.
Yeah, the Mormons. They've got fingers in a lot of pies, haven't they? The Mormons. Maybe the Mormons are running the global financial system. Maybe the Mormons are running the banks. Maybe the Mormons are running Hollywood. Who are all the heads of the major studios? Is it people like the Amish? Is it? Is that who we've got to watch out for?
Well, who owns Bank of America?
Look, I'm not going to sit and listen to you, Isaac APAC, blaming other religions for having a disproportionate influence.
Bank of America, Berkshire Hathaway is a major shareholder.
I don't know what that means.
That's Warren Buffett. Buffett's a Protestant.
All right, mate. Yeah,
that's good.
Fair enough. God,
he's not Amish. He's not a Mormon.
Rape gang jailed.
So what did your test prove? What did it show?
That's what I was trying to say before he started piping up. Let's take over everything. I was going to say I got that type of Jewish in that's really good, like the really smart ones. Something like Azibajaki, that one.
Ashkenazi.
I'm one of them. So try that on.
How deep?
It's deep, baby. It's deep.
So you might actually be one of us, huh?
Well, it weren't that much. I don't know, but it was a little bit. It was a little bit of that, and I was pretty happy with it because they're the clever ones. Isn't like Freud a bit of that, and Marx, and all those great Jews of the 20th?
Yeah, all the European Jews they're labeled as Ashkenazi, and then the ones that were in Spain and Portugal are the Sephardic, and they ended up after being expelled from Muslim.
He goes on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Look, we're not interested in that crap. We're actually interested in Muslims because this is Tommy Robinson. Now, the thing that I love Tommy Robinson actually, well, he's intense, isn't he? And I love the British working class. It's a class that I come from. I didn't feel like I fitted in when I was in it. Go look at my biography. The photographs are there of me being working class. You can see them if you want to. Now, but the thing is this. the thing is this. I'm not like down with blanket condemnation of all Muslims. But I do generally believe, this is the way I look at it. If I moved to Japan, I'd go, okay, what are we doing then? This is it. Dressing up like little schoolgirls. Is that the thing we do here? And being really into kittens and cat cafes and being all like a bit like sort of scarred by Hiroshima. Okay, I'd fit right in with the Japanese. I wouldn't say, oh, wait, why don't we try, supporting West Ham United, Ray Winston. Crack on with that, Japanese people.
Yeah.
Right, so where do you stand? Let me know in the comments and chat where you stand on native cultures. The problem is with Britain is that the indigenous culture of Britain has been dissolved anyway. Now, a lot of people, say Tommy Robinson, would focus on the threat of mass migration, and why not? People can focus on whatever they want. I've always, as a person whose background comes somewhat from the cultural, if not economic left, focused on the invasion of corporate market forces. Every time you see a mall somewhere, the one near where I lived last time I lived in the UK was called the Eden Centre. And it was in High Wycombe, the Eden Centre. They named it after the sort of the perfection of God's early creation, a walled area where we might live freely. So I've always thought those sort of spaceships that are dropped from above, corporatized spaces, globally owned corporations that don't pay their taxes in the UK, Uber running the black cabs out of business. I've always thought economic and corporate power was the biggest threat, whilst I acknowledge people's concerns about mass migration, in particular in the last 20 years, I think is what people are talking about. Although in my country, Enoch Powell was talking about it from the 70s onwards, and he's held up as a kind of hero of the right to some degree. But I'm always I always like to point out that the early waves of immigration from like West Indies and people from India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, there was, whilst of course there's always been tension between human beings in general, it gave birth to this new kind of movement of ska in music, and white working class and West Indian working class people got together and created great cultural artifacts together. And the school I went to was more like lots of white kids, but more Indian, Bangladeshi and Pakistani kids. And I think there was some racism, thinking about it now. I won't sort of gloss over it. But in general, people cracked along, got on with it. And what I feel like is, how can we address the evident problems of a media exploiting an incident, which is where Tommy Robinson starts his film, like the playground spat between a couple of kids that was exploited, it looks like, by the media, and the real problem, the cultural problems that appear to exist if what Tommy Robinson says about rape grooming gangs is true. And look, lots of people are getting convicted of that now, so seems like it is true if you can trust the British justice system. And with regard to these matters, you can let me know in the comments and chat what you feel about it. Who cares what I think? Anyway, so what I want is for us to be able to talk about Tommy Robinson, the reason his voice is relevant, the reason his work is relevant, the reason he's a significant and important character, and indeed why he's so consistently attacked by the media. And I think that I will tell you this, that I'm also a divisive person, of course, now more than ever, perhaps in the public eye. But I'll tell you something I really noticed that scarred me and I'll never forget, is when I sort of stepped out of being just a relatively vanilla person appearing in movies, on TV, radio, online, live stand-up, all that, and started talking about politics more explicitly. The people that were most condemnatory, cruel and mean, were the British liberal establishment was so condescending and so mean. Like, they actually made things about the way I talk. You can't talk like that with that accent and talk about it. Honestly, I swear to God, then they realised what a faux pas that was. And they did. There's a Blur song called Park Life, and Park Life was like a British actor called Phil Daniels talking about a load of stuff from his diary, and then going, Park Life. The band Blur would do that. And when I would first start doing online videos, there was this Park Life meme saying, whenever Russell Brand's talking about politics, don't you just hear Park Life at the end of every time he finishes a sentence? And I did this really riposte video with a couple of good Jewish lads, as a matter of fact, that went on to work with James Corden, made this wicked video saying when working class people have opinions on politics and you're from university, you like to condemn it, don't you? Park Life. And then wouldn't it be nice if working class people didn't have a perspective on political opinions and didn't come together, or like a Park Life, did this. I sort of owned it. It was good. Anyway, But what I've never forgotten is the sneering contempt from Newsnight. In fact, I'd like to watch that one day. I'd like to watch them Newsnight videos. The one with Paxman, where I took him to task with the old sort of autodidactic vernacular claptrap attacks. And also, I'd like to look at the one where it was this guy Evan something or another, where like they really bombarded me with statistics, and sort of even Douglas Murray relatively recently mentioned that. Anyway, not favourably, might I add. Okay, so the reason I mention all of that is because I think a good percentage of the hatred and ire directed at Tommy Robinson is because deep down, the professional media classes think working class people should shut the fuck up and do as they're told. And I think that the hatred of Trump supporters is the same thing. And I think the hatred heaped on people that vote for Brexit was the same thing. And in this area in particular, Tommy Robinson's our ally. What are we on? Number 1 then, APAC?
You can just press play.
Just press play. Simple as that. Here we go. This is Tommy. This is the second part. But if we didn't watch that much of it. We just established the central idea. A British playground. There was a spat between a Syrian refugee kid and a British native kid, and the media jumped on it and blew it up. It involved people like Piers Morgan, Jeremy Vine, who's a BBC sort of commentator and sort of pundit. And so this is the Tommy Robinson's documentary that Elon Musk reposted that showed that the British government can be manoeuvred. And indeed, that's why the categories of misinformation and disinformation have been created, because some people somewhere have recognised, wait a minute, the minute the independent media and independent politics align, we are fucked, because they'll be able to change the direction of entire nations. This is just the beginning of a phenomenon which I believe will change the world, i.e. activism, independent media, attacking and changing existing political institutions. Let me know what you think about that. If you ain't got Rumble Premium yet, get Rumble Premium now.
Problem in the school and
no, I don't think there was.
What about other Syrian refugees? Like, do you think what happened to Jamal?
Tommy Robinson's tooled himself up with hidden cameras. He's going around talking to people about the case because no one would talk to him on camera. He's been to the headmaster at the school, filmed him saying that he'd signed NDAs. A lot of the people that were at this school that became the centre of this furore wouldn't talk about it publicly. Tommy Robinson got like cameras off, I think his mate Steve or something delightful, that a meeting that he conducted on a forecourt outside of McDonald's, and now he's going around interviewing people. But that's what it's like, man. That's what it's like.
Do you think what happened to Jamal in the school was because he was a Syrian refugee?
No, not all. I told you before that would have happened if the child was white, big, blue, whatever colour.
They're all scared.
Yeah. We've all got careers, aren't they? I work for probation service now.
You do now?
Yeah. So I don't know where I stand with it. If I go, I could lose my...
I've got a lot of friends that are British Muslims that have that accent, and I don't want this to lead to a sense that there is no way that British Muslims and British Christians and British atheists, Sikhs, whatever, can all live together harmoniously. I think they can. I wonder what the compromise is. I wonder what the conversations are. Sorry I've took my dressing gown off, you know me, I'm like this now. But also I'm saying it back together.
No, and I wouldn't...
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get it, bro.
I work for probation service now. You see, if I didn't work for...
You see, if you were summoned...
If I didn't work for the fucking public sector no more, I'd say they can go fuck themselves, they can't. You know what I mean?
So they seem to be pretty keen on these NDAs?
Yeah.
Who is that?
Deputy Council. But I can't disclose that with you.
Like what?
Loads. I'm saying I can't disclose it because I signed it.
That incident was talked about by Theresa May at a G20 summit. Somebody asked her a question about it. We were then Ofsteded by 5 of the top inspectors in the country. But only send 1 registered inspector. We had the head of safeguarding. I had Amanda Spielman, the head of Ofsted, speaking to me about it. If you want my honest opinion, they said, get up there, I don't know who they is, get up there and shut that school. Get up there and get rid of this.
Get rid of the problem, over the Bailey.
Correct.
Over Jamal.
Correct. Get up there and get rid of it.
But why do you think that is? Like, do you think, because I looked at Jamal, because he came here 2 years ago, I've got so many negative things said about him now by so many people. Like, I mean so many.
Well,
I've got children at school.
I said it to you before. Yeah. We had 9 Syrian children, 9 families.
Yep.
We only had 1 issue.
Well, my view is that you won't get much of an answer out of Rob because he worked there and he's bound by various confidentiality. So
non-disclosure agreements. Did he get paid as well?
Not going to comment.
They all have. Every teacher got paid not to tell the truth. But the head teacher can't even talk about Jamal at all.
No, neither can I.
Neither can you. What's your name?
Well, if you work it out, it must be a good one, mustn't it?
Oh yeah, so, did you work there as well?
No, I was the chair of governors there, but so it's not.
What my issue is?
You're not going to get anywhere. Really.
No, yeah.
And Rob wouldn't talk to you either, so it's.
They're trying to.
It's pointless me even giving you.
I told the truth.
Your contact details.
Okay.
It wouldn't work with it.
I told the truth about what happened that day.
I am not even arguing.
His life was destroyed.
Well, that's not fair either, is it?
As a racist bully, and he weren't.
And he wasn't.
I know.
And I both know that.
I know.
Unfortunately, the truth is just.
How much money is it?
I can't see the figure because if I see the figure, it goes out.
Because mate, 18.
I've just found out. Well, the head teacher's told us already that he was blackmailed and threatened. I've just found out of Kumar. He was paid £18,000. Paid. He said, I can't say. Shh. I signed. I was paid. I said, paid what? He was paid money by the local council, so he can't tell the truth about what's gone on in that school. They've given everyone non-disclosure agreements, from school staff to governors, and Paul Kumar to get £18,000. He's not even involved. If you live here, if you live in this area, your tax money, he's got 18 grand. What must the head teacher have got? He must have got 6 figures. How much money have they spent on this lie?
We put in a freedom of information request to Kirklees Council to find out exactly how much they had spent of taxpayers' money to get the silence of their staff. They didn't answer the first request. They avoided the second. Only when we sent them legal letters, because they have to by law answer these questions, did we get our answer. They had spent over £250,000. Nearly £275,000 of taxpayers' money was spent making people remain silent.
But they've spent money silencing everybody, so no one can ever. This is forever once you sign that.
What I also like about watching this is you see Tommy Robinson in environments that are very familiar to me, like the street I grew up in and the streets around my house and my nan's house, them kind of hedges, them kind of windows, them kind of houses. Then Freedom of Information Act requests, this is the kind of stuff that we're dealing with as a result of a lot of things that, you know, I'm going through. If you're a fan of this show and the work that we do, you'll know. So it's so interesting to see this world, you know, like where there's this guy that has to be tenacious and persistent, pursuing councils to find out if the council have spent money silencing people or legal fees or however they dress it up, I don't know. What I think it's a bit like when I'm talking about that guy Mamdani, who, let's face it, is from a different political perspective in an entirely different environment. I think it's positive that he's emerged because look at the conversations people are having now about the way that you can run New York. You know, you don't have to just go, well, you could either have Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. You know, like there's so many different ways of running a nation, of running a state, of conducting an investigation, of what a journalist looks like, of what an activist looks like, of essentially ways of confronting power that very, very good at remaining stasis. The primary function of the system is to maintain itself. The way that it does that is it offers a false dichotomy, false choices, so that even when you think you're making a selection, you're just choosing one of them. Now, someone like Tommy Robinson, he's rattling sabres and shaking it up a little bit because they've wanted this to go away. They took the bold gambit of trying to use this to, in a sense, that general agenda of vilifying the working class, which is a way of, I would say, neutralising the kind of political change that would meaningfully impact the vast majority of people. Because, like, if the left-wing, inverted commas, left-wing parties are fixated on identity issues, those are by definition issues that affect minorities. And it stopped being racial minorities or women's rights in the 70s, 80s, 90s and started to focus on trans issues and a variety of more niche issues. And I'm not suggesting those issues aren't important. They are important. But what's the most important thing are the political issues that are going to meaningfully impact the lives of most people. And in a way, it comes down to economics, the ability of ordinary people to earn good money to control their lives. And maybe beyond that, and get this, that your life might not totally be dictated by the amount of money you earn. Like earlier today, someone was saying, like that America used to be held together by what was written on the dollar bills, "In God We Trust." But actually, it's the dollar bills themselves that provide the cohesion in the United States of America. And given that one of the main crises in American culture right now is the debt crisis that's, even caused a conflict between two of the most powerful men in the world today, Trump and Musk, it kind of shows you that our systems are faltering, failing. Debt and usury are forbidden throughout Scripture. There's probably a good reason for it, whether you're a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew. Usury and debt are forbidden. We could be living very, very different lives. So when I watch Tommy Robinson in environments that are visually very familiar to me, using jargon that's become latterly familiar to me for Freedom of Information Act requests from various newspaper entities, online entities, government departments, stuff that I'm involved in now, it's fascinating to see that the system, whilst powerful, has a fragility that's in particular brought to the forefront by independent media, by independent activism, by the threat that someone like Tommy Robinson presents. That's what I reckon.
Yeah, I think there's enough historical documentation to show that if you underestimate the lower class, the working class, the people who you just sort of write off as simple, that it doesn't go well for the establishment. If you actually underestimate the people, not the what people are trying to show as the people, but the actual people. I mean, I think we got July 4th coming up.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. For the British, I think there's probably an underestimating of the people.
I don't like the way this is going. I was enjoying this video.
And you need to take it. Don't underestimate the people.
Those generals were British. Washington was trained by the British Army. It was his failure against the French that taught him guerrilla tactics. How dare you? Why, George? Listen, America, it's not too late for you guys to come back. It's going very well in Britain. Don't trust everything you read on the internet. It's a good country. Please, give us just some taxes, please. We could do with a few quid. Yeah, I feel you, mate. I feel you. That's true. The truth, this is what's amazing about living where I do now on the redneck Riviera. Is like, these people are good, decent, Christian people. You won't meet a Democrat among them. You won't meet one. Everyone's totally pro-Trump, up and down all day long. Christians, decent, normal, ordinary people. They want their guns. They don't want to be fucked with. And you see the same thing. What people do, the reason people are trying to disarm their population is not because they care about you. The same reason they didn't try and vaccinate you because they care about you. They don't care about you. They're trying to make care. They're trying to make their control and authority look like care. And someone like this dude, Tommy Robinson, is a chippy, aggressive person who's not going to have it. And it's sort of the last kind of energy they need. I've got a different role, I believe, in the culture. My role is, can you have this kind of voice heard? And can you have the legitimate issues that he brings to the forefront explored and responded to without it leading to a kind of lateral hatred between members of the same economic class and same communities? That would be where I'd be interested in taking this conversation.
No one can ever, this is forever, once you sign that agreement, no one can ever tell the truth. While they pushed this manufactured lie that destroyed lives, schools, communities, everyone's life. I've seen life after life after life, person after person's life destroyed, while the council, your local council, Kirklees Council, give away hundreds of thousands.
Someone doing a literal wheelie in the background. That's England, man. There's someone filming over there. I'm going to go and do a wheelie in the background. I love that. I love people misbehaving on the news. I love all of that stuff. We're going to continue watching this, but before we do, here's a quick message from one of our partners. Field of Greens, baby. You got to make yourself so healthy. What colour's your wee-wee? Be honest. It's Lella, isn't it? Filthy yellow, unless you're on the methylene blue. If you have Field of Greens like me, you will look at your wee-wee and you'll think, I should be like Madonna in the good old 80s and drink this stuff right back down. It's so full of delicious nutrients. And this being 4th of July, there is a fireworks sale. Baby, you're a firework. Let's get 25% off this product right now. Get Lean, the #1 weight loss supplement packed with natural studied ingredients. No injections like a Zempiec. You don't want in Zempiec right up your back passage, do you? What if you get addicted to it? No. Field of Greens lean. Without the injections, get yourself thin and glorious. I'm on it. I got these glorious abs like Bob Villain. I got abs like Bob Villain, baby. Try Field of Greens, the superfood drink so powerful they guarantee your doctor will notice your boosted health or your money back. It's all due to delicious Field of Greens. Collagen peptides are another fan favourite for glowing skin and hair. Have you noticed my skin? Have you noticed my hair? Collagen peptides. They're oozing out of every pore. You should see my nipples now. They're running with collagen peptides. You want some? You can't have none of that. I'm married man. From weight loss to wellness, Brickhouse Nutrition has it all. And our listeners can't stop raving. This sale is huge, but it's only here for a few days and products will sell out. Don't wait. Head to brickhousenutrition.com and use Fireworks 25 for 25% off. Let's go big this 4th of July. Brickhousenutrition.com. Stock up now. Get yourself Bob Villain abs. And if you want, Bob Villain views, baby. Bob Dylan views and Bob Villain abs. That's surely the solution. Get lean without Ozempic. Trust Brickhouse. Brickhouse! To watch the rest of our enjoyable Tommy Robinson watch along, click the link in the description. We ain't staying on YouTube no more. YouTube probably banned this already, haven't they? I'm sure they have. So click the link, join us over on Rumble. Rumble, protect our free speech is our home, and get Rumble Premium to get additional content from me, Greenwald, Crowder, Tim Paul, all of us guys. Additionally, what's that thing I want to say? Oh yeah, thanks Timcast and Crowder for the raid. Stay with us.
Thousands of pounds to make sure that the truth can never be told. I knew from day dot, I asked myself the question, when this was blowing up and I knew the truth, I kept saying, how come no teacher's telling the truth? If all those teachers know what's gone on in that school, how come none of them are coming out and saying, well, now we know. Now the whole world's going to know. Because Kirklees Council paid them not to. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now with the new year?
Yeah,